And we continue to track all the details from that very crucial hearing at the Rouse Avenue Court. Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia, arrested in the liquor policy scam case, the liquor gate scam. He has now been presented before the court. The arguments are underway. The CBI has sought a 5-day custody. The argument from the side of Mr. Sisodia has been that self-incrimination is not something, it is not a ground based on which an arrest can be made. Basically, the CBI argued that he was not giving details, he was not cooperating, and rebutting all those arguments, you have Mr. Dayan Krishnan, who's a senior advocate, appearing before the magistrate and arguing that basically any kind of self-incrimination or forcing somebody to give some kind of details cannot be the plausible ground of arrest. The CBI, on the other hand, says that they have credible testimonies on record. The mobile phone of Mr. Manish Sisodia, which was changed over a dozen times, and there is no plausible reason why he would do something like that. There are various points and arguments on which the clarification from Mr. Sisodia is required, and hence a custodial interrogation is of utmost importance. Ananya Bhatnagaragi, legal correspondent, is getting us all the details from inside the courtroom. I want to cut across to my colleague Shirin as well, who's with us on the show. Shirin, take us through the arguments that have happened in the court so far.
Well, we have already updated our viewers about the 5-day custody that has in fact been sought by the CBI. Now the argument is in fact going on where the representative of Manish Sisodia, the counsel for Manish Sisodia, has in fact been arguing just because Manish Sisodia has been evasive of the questions of CBI, that cannot be the ground for the arrest. Now, the counsel for Manish Sisodia has in fact been saying that these can't be, just because he's evasive of the questions that is being asked by CBI, that can't be the ground to arrest him. Apart from that, the CBI, since yesterday has been saying that he's concealing the true facts, not cooperating in investigation. This can't be the ground on the arrest, is what Manish Sisodia's counsel has been saying. Now, apart from that, as far as cooperation is concerned, it is even their case that I have cooperated, and they have raided my home, my house, and my phones are also with the CBI official, is what the counsel of Manish Sisodia at this point has been saying. So, as of now, we are seeing that the CBI so far has been saying that because they want an effective interrogation of Manish Sisodia, he has been evasive, and that is why they have sought a 5-day custody. On the other hand, the Manish Sisodia counsel, in fact, has been saying that this can't be a ground to arrest someone just because he's evasive of the questions that have been put forth to him.
Article 20 of the Indian Constitution gives you the right not to divulge information which is self-incriminating. Now, that being said, that's not the sole ground on which the agency has made this arrest. The agency could have argued this months ago that Mr. Manish Sisodia is giving evasive replies or he's not cooperating. The fact that Central Bureau of Investigation waited for months, for more than 6 to 8 months before making this arrest, means that they wanted to have some kind of a watertight case, evidence on record to argue and substantiate before a court of law how this arrest is substantial, it's important, and in line with the due process which has been laid down. I want to once again go to my colleague Ashish Mehershri, who's with us on the broadcast. Ashish, you told us about 2 critical testimonies which are with the CBI. What is the reason that Mr. Sisodia so far has not featured in the charge sheet? I ask you this question because this is something that the Aam Aadmi Party has been raising as some kind of defense of Mr. Sisodia, that because they found nothing, and that is why they couldn't put his name in the charge sheet.
It's absolutely wrong way of looking at it.
Yeah.
So a charge sheet against an individual is filed. Usually the time taken is when the investigation is completed on an issue and then a charge sheet is filed. So here Manish Sisodia stands arrested by CBI, and within 60 days of his arrest, a charge sheet needs to be filed. Now you can argue that, the investigation is going on, why the charge sheet is not being filed. No, it is not like that. It is absolutely the right of the IO, the joint director and the director CBI, whenever they deem fit, a charge sheet can be filed. The investigation is going on. See, they laid hands on Manish Sisodia only after they had absolute evidence against him that yes, there were certain decisions which were abrupt in nature. There is a money trail. There is evidence of destruction of evidence. Yeah. So there are so many things which are basically visible now. That is why they arrested him, and he's been produced before the court. Now, whatever, if you see, whatever we were talking about since yesterday, this is actually in the remand note of CBI as well, that he was basically was not cooperative during investigation. He was not answering. There is a missing file. Where is that file? Nobody knows. Manish Sisodia is not ready to give the details where that file is. So there are so many things which are coming out, and obviously one can argue that there is, he's not involved, but it is obviously the judge has to decide based on the evidence whether the decision to arrest somebody is right or wrong, whether he should be sent to the CBI custody, to the judicial custody, or granted bail. It's absolutely on the judge and then on the merit of the case.
Absolutely. And as I said earlier, nobody is going to second guess the due process of law and what happens in a court of law. But we can certainly talk about the evidence that exists. Talking about another argument, Ashish, which the Aam Aadmi Party has raised so far, that there's nothing against Manish Sisodia from the evidentiary point of view. You have conducted multiple raids. There are dozens of raids that were conducted in the National Capital Region, in other parts of the country as well. His home, his office was raided by the CBI. Quote unquote, they found nothing. Once again, for the benefit of our viewers, a quick recap of what the agency claims is the evidence that they have so far against Mr. Sisodia, and how crucial is the testimony of Dinesh Arora, the accused turned approver in this case.
So, one has to look at, give a holistic view to the entire conspiracy. What is the conspiracy which the CBI and the Enforcement Directorate is investigating? The conspiracy is that there were certain abrupt changes in the policy, and this was done at the demand of the South Lobby. The basically, if you see what the South Lobby says, what the allegation against the South Lobby is, that they ensured, one, that the wholesale trade came into the hands of the private players. Two, the margin was substantially increased so that the kickbacks can be paid, and then there is a money trail where money from South basically landed into the hands of Aam Aadmi Party netas, and that was basically used for election campaigning in Goa. That is what the CBI and ED has found during their investigation till now. Now, what is the abrupt decision that was taken? Now, if you see the statement of C. Arvind, who was the secretary of Manish Sisodia, he claims that the decision to give wholesale trade in private hands and the decision to increase the margin from 5% to 12%, this was basically done at the residence of Arvind Kejriwal, where Manish Sisodia was also present. But this issue this never came to the expert committee, neither at the level of the GOM, neither at the level of the cabinet. It was just that the decision was taken abruptly, and it was decided to do so. Against that, the allegation is the reason for increase of percentage of profit was that 6% out of the 12% was coming as kickback money to the Aam Aadmi Party netas. That is what the CBI and ED is claiming. Now, what the policy was drafted in such a manner that there should not be cartelization. This essentially means that a person basically, a person who's into wholesale trade, he cannot be into manufacturing. A person who's into manufacturing cannot be into the retail trade. So the policy was crafted in such a manner. But there are so many instances where the person is involved into manufacturing, the person is also involved into wholesale, the person is also involved into retail, and in all the three areas, either he or through his proxies, they are occupying here R.F. Gopi Krishna, who was basically the excise commissioner, he has said that there were so many complaints of cartelization, and especially complaints against a company named Indospirit. But Manish Sisodia chose to turn a blind eye, and he was basically instructed, the R.F. Gopi Krishna was instructed by Manish Sisodia to allocate the license, especially to Indospirit at an early date. So these
and
are
Ashish, outside the political noise, this is the core of the case that you're discussing. What kind of evidence that exists? R.F. Gopi Krishnan, you have C. Arvind, these are two crucial testimony, Dinesh Arora, the accused and approver, the files that are missing. Now, whether there'll be an acquittal or a conviction is a far-fetched idea. The trial may take years for any trial to conclude. what will happen in the next few days and in the next few months as this process of law, which will happen through a police custody or the CBI custody, the Enforcement Directorate is very likely to step into this entire case, is the battle of political perception and public perception, which will play out in the public domain. Especially the Aam Aadmi Party has cried foul. They have said the